Enchanted Journeys. You have just entered our magic lamp. From here, Cosette uses her magic to whisk us away on a flying carpet to some special location where we read a really good story together. And when we're finished, we usually go and do some sort of craft or other activity that's a whole lot of fun. And you can bet I have a good one planned for us today. And it just so happens that it's edible. Well, what do you say? Are you ready to get going on an enchanted journey with me and find out what Cosette has picked out for us to read together today? Me too. All right, if you've been here before, you know what to do. Rub your hands together and say, I wish to go on an enchanted journey, and away we go! Hello, boys and girls. What do you think of this outfit, huh? I'm in space now because today's story must have something to do with space. What do you think? I've got a great one picked out for us today. This is called Mousetronaut by Astronaut Mark Kelly. I hope that you enjoy it. The space shuttle is set for a launch, and the astronauts are doing their last-minute training to prepare for the mission. NASA is sending along some special guests for this flight, and they're training too. One mouse is smaller than all the rest. His name is Meteor. The other mice know he won't be chosen for this important mission, but someone has his eye on Meteor, and he's impressed with the little mouse's hard work. The shuttle commander announces that 6 mice will be selected for the flight. He picks 5 of the biggest, strongest mice. But for the 6th spot, to everyone's surprise, he chooses Meteor. All 6 are taken to their new home, a special cage called the Mouse Hotel. The other mice are nervous as the countdown begins, but not Meteor. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off! At first, the mice are pressed flat against their cages by the power of the launch. But then the pressure goes away. The other mice cling to the cage in terror. But not Meteor. He loves the feeling of weightlessness. Hey, little guy, the commander says. You're a natural. A real live Mousetronaut. Meteor is taken from his cage and gets a tour of the shuttle. He can even see the Earth way off in the distance. The astronauts are all very busy during the 14-day flight. There are spacewalks to take and experiments to conduct. But what can Meteor do to help? Then, while answering email, one of the astronauts notices the key to the control panel stuck between the monitors. When he tries to get it out, it accidentally gets wedged further down. This isn't good, says the commander. We need that key back. One astronaut tries to move the monitor. It doesn't budge. Another slips her fingers into the crack, but the key is stuck down too deep. One even tries pushing it out with a long piece of metal, but with no luck. No one can reach it. The astronauts are getting worried, but as they discuss the problem, a tiny figure has an idea. Being the smallest isn't a bad thing, Meteor says to himself. Maybe I can be useful on this flight. Meteor squeezes his way into the crack. The space is dark and cramped, but Meteor spots the key and tugs at it with all his might. Hey, look at what our tiny friend has done, the commander says. He's saved the mission. When the shuttle returns to Earth, Meteor is declared a hero. He's even given a brand new uniform and an official title, Mousetronaut. All the astronauts cheer and applaud, but Meteor is already thinking about his next big mission. The end. What did you think of Mousetronaut by astronaut Mark Kelly? It was a pretty good story, wasn't it? I really enjoyed how a little tiny mouse could make such a big difference on their space flight. You know, thinking about going into space and seeing a meteor or a comet or just all the planets got me thinking of a great idea for an activity we could do together today. How would you like to make your own solar system? We're going to use fruits and vegetables though, instead of using, styrofoam or cardboard or anything like that that you might usually see. This could be a lot of fun, and it's edible, so I hope you'll enjoy it. You ready to go and try it with me now? Okay, let's go. All right, boys and girls, before we get busy building our very own solar system, I thought it would be very helpful to talk about what the solar system is first. Our solar system consists of the sun and all the celestial objects that orbit it, including the 8 planets, dwarf planets, moons, asteroids, comets, and more. This is all located within the Milky Way galaxy and is held together by the sun's gravitational force. The sun is the star at the center, containing the vast majority of the solar system's mass. The 8 planets in order from the sun are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. There are many dwarf planets, but today we'll only focus on Pluto, as we used to consider it a regular planet. There are moons, which are natural satellites that orbit planets and other objects, and asteroids, which are rocky or metallic objects, mostly found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. There are even comets, which are icy bodies that develop a tail as they approach the sun. The planets that are located closer to the sun are rocky, and the planets that are further away are gas or ice giants. The sun's gravity keeps everything in orbit, and it is just a small part of the Milky Way galaxy. Our solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and it is dynamic and evolving, still holding many mysteries. Let's try our hand at making our very own solar system using food that we can eat when we're finished. The first thing I'm going to do on this paper plate is just write out the names of the different planets that we identify from furthest away to closest to the sun. So I'm going to include Pluto, the dwarf planet, and then I'm writing in Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury, and finally the sun. And I'll show you how we're going to use this plate in a little while. So if you have a paper plate or a piece of cardboard and you want to do what I'm doing, you can pull out a marker and write down the names of these planets and just put it off to the side for now. All right, boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit about our solar system and its planets. Now, I thought we could do something yummy and fun with the solar systems, and we're going to take these simple pieces of food and turn them into a solar system right on our plate. What you see in front of me is some food to represent different planets. We might have to do a little bit of cutting, so you might need a butter knife, but what we're going to do is we're going to represent Mercury with this red grape, Venus with the celery, Earth with this kiwi fruit, Mars with our strawberry, Jupiter is going to be this pepperoni, Saturn will be a piece of cheddar cheese, and if you don't have cheddar cheese, you can use Velveeta. Uranus is going to be a piece of string cheese. Neptune is going to be represented by this piece of ham. If you have ham cubes, that's even better. Otherwise, you can fold your ham up into a cube or into a circle shape for the planet. And Pluto, even though it's no longer a planet, will be represented by this little kernel of corn. And for the center of our solar system, we're going to use a banana. If you have a mandarin orange or an orange slice, that works really great. I don't, so I'm going to go ahead and just use a piece of banana as my sun. It will give us the same idea. So that's all you really need, and hopefully you have most of these yummy fruits and vegetables already in your fridge to make your own solar system with. So the first thing we'll do is we'll cut a piece of this banana to put in the center of our solar system, or our plate, and that will represent the sun. And that's going to be my sun. I know it's kind of funny looking. So if you have an orange, that's going to work a little bit better. Maybe I can kind of slice it up to make it look kind of like a fiery planet like the sun. Because we know from far away the sun looks like a giant ball, but it's not. It's a big ball of fire is what it is. Keeps us warm and gives us daylight. I love the sun. Okay, so that's my center of my solar system. The next planet that is closest to the sun, we're gonna start closest to the sun and move outwards on our plate. So the next planet that would come closest to the sun is Mercury. And Mercury is going to be represented by this red grape. After Mercury comes the planet Venus, and Venus is being represented by some celery. And we're gonna make sure it's a little bit further out than Mercury. And again, I'm using a rather small plate. If you have a bigger plate or even a piece of cardboard or something, that might work really well. So we'll say that's Venus. The next closest planet is Earth, and we're gonna represent Earth with a kiwi. So I'm just gonna cut my kiwi. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Again, I'm using kind of big pieces, but you can get smaller pieces. And if you don't want to use the same foods that I'm using, you can use whatever food you like best to represent the different sizes. And you can move them around on your plate, however you like. The idea of this activity is just to teach you a little bit about our planets and our solar system and how they orbit around the sun and where approximately they're located. Next, after Earth, we have Mars, which we know is this piece of strawberry because it's red, like Mars, the red planet. My favorite part of this activity is eating the extra pieces that I don't need. Okay, there's my Mars. So far, you should have your Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The next planet that comes is Jupiter. And Jupiter is a big planet. I'm gonna represent it with this pepperoni. I'm gonna have to make these planets a little closer to the sun to fit my Jupiter. And again, you can just move them around on the plate. Don't be overly concerned with placement. Next, we have Saturn. And I'm going to represent Saturn with my block of cheese here. Now, if you have cheddar cheese, that's great. If you don't, you can use something like what I'm using. I'm using some Velveeta. Now, Saturn is a fun planet because it's got rings around it. So I'm gonna just slice my Velveeta cheese to kind of look like it's got some asteroid belt rings around Saturn here. If I can get it to stay. It may not want to stay up there. Maybe we'll use some of our kiwi fruit that we have left over. There's my Saturn. Okay. Next we have Uranus, which is going to be represented by a piece of string cheese. So I got a little piece of string cheese out here. That's my Uranus. And then I have Neptune, which I'm gonna use as ham. You can cut it, you can fold it. If you've got a ham cube, that works good too. And last, but certainly not least, our old friend, Pluto. I'm gonna put Pluto right here, my little piece of corn. And there you have a very, very simple solar system on your plate made with food. This is a lot of fun just to play with and enjoy to eat. You can move the planets around. You can play little games to help you remember the different planet names and familiarize yourself with our solar system even more. Do you remember the order of our solar system? We start with our sun and we move out. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and our little buddy over here, Pluto. Now, another activity you can do with the same foods, instead of using a plate like this, you could use a paper plate and you could draw the names of the planets and then place them, or a piece of cardboard so you have more room to spread out your food. You could challenge yourself by writing the names of the planet on a paper plate and decorating it and seeing if you can remember which of these fruits you made into the different planets. So I've gone ahead and written on this paper plate all the names of the different planets that I want to identify. Now let's see if we can remember from the food we picked out which goes where. First we need a sun. And I've put the sun at the bottom, just save room so that we could spread up and really see the different planets. Do you remember what came next? If you said Mercury, you're right. Okay, what came after Mercury? Do you remember? I think it was Venus. If you said Venus, you were right. And what came after Venus? I'll give you a hint. It's our home. If you said Earth, you are correct. And after Earth comes the big red planet, Mars. What came after Mars? You said Jupiter. You are correct. I'm going to put Jupiter right here. And then the next ones are easy to remember because I remember the initials Sun, S-U-N, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Saturn, I had my block of cheese. And Uranus, we had string cheese. And for Neptune, do you remember we used a piece of ham? And if you're like me and you don't want to let go of little Pluto, we have a little kernel of corn for Pluto. And here's another way of demonstrating the solar system. Instead of spreading it out in a circle, we're looking at it ahead of us like this. And it's easier to see all the different planets by putting the sun down here and just having them up in front of you so you can see everything that's going on, including our little friend Pluto. So that's just another fun activity you can do with the same food and to challenge yourself. In fact, what's a lot of fun is to give somebody else a paper plate and a marker and see if they can write down the order of the planets following from the sun, and then have them help put the food. It'll help you both learn something and remember. I hope that you enjoyed this activity and that you learned a little bit about the solar system with me today, and that you enjoyed our story of Mousetronaut, the little mouse that went into space with astronaut Mark Kelly. I just thought that was so neat. Well, I think we're done here for today. I'm gonna eat some of these snacks, but first we gotta run back and say goodbye to Cosette and my magic lamp. Are you ready to go with me? Okay, let's go together now. And welcome back to the magic lamp. How did you enjoy the story of Mousetronaut today? I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun to picture a mouse going up a special space mission and doing something that none of the humans could do. I thought that was really very special and neat. It's kind of like thinking about Cosette doing some magic here in my lamp that I can't do. It's fun to pretend, isn't it? And what did you think of making your own edible solar system? I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're eating it right now and enjoying that sweet treat. And I hope that you'll come back to visit Cosette and me again really soon. Until we see you, take good care. Bye-bye.